I prefer during the week that they're done at 11 instead of 2. I just, when I schedule them at 2, it just is hard to rearrange my whole day to just stop everything I'm doing in the afternoon. Where I live in Harlan, everyone talks shit. Everyone talks shit. And it's fine. There's nothing that anybody can be done with it. But the stuff that is going on about me is stupid. And I just don't know what to say to it other than bearing false witness is the surefire way into the dark. I was never a cocaine addict. I've never trafficked kids. I'm not a pedophile. Hey, Smokey, I'm not a pedophile. I'm I'm not a felon. I've never had a shot-off shotgun. It, all of this stuff that's being said is so stupid that it defies words. And people are running around, at least where I'm at in town, like they know. And they don't know shit. And they can say whatever they want. I know that the signs that I have out in my yard cause quite the stir. But right around the corner, there's a dude with the Trump sign who, in black magic marker, wrote JFK Jr. on his. So he's waiting for a dead man to join Trump in order to, what, take down the cabal, I guess? And that's acceptable. And then a mile out of town, there's a dude who has a huge ass Columbine. And on that huge ass Columbine, there's a big sign that says Trump was right about everything. Funny, that isn't even an original campaign slogan. And do you know who used that campaign slogan first? Mussolini. A campaign for Mussolini was Mussolini is always right. That's what happened in World War II. So this huge ass sign, Trump was right about everything, is fascist and right out of World War II. It's not even, you know, it's not even. So I don't know if I'm going to have Sherilyn today because I'm doing this. I'm just doing, and now they're back in. There's not 25 people in here. It's what they do. If I were them, I'd be afraid. Because this whole Epstein thing, yes, now we're all focused on the LA riots. But if you watch people from LA, they're taking videos. LA is not burning down. It's not burning down. And the fact that they have trash cans on fire and stuff and they run to them, LA is not burning down. But while we're talking about LA burning down, we sure the fuck ain't talking about that bill that's getting pushed through Congress. We're not talking about the Epstein shit with Trump and Musk. See how it works? The dog and ponies show. That's, they have us focused on whatever they need us to focus on. But the Epstein thing is going to continue going. It's been going for a while. You can only keep this bullshit in LA going for so long before people get bored with it. And so it's not going to work. People are going to go back to the Epstein shit. That's what's going to end up happening. They haven't been able to quelch it yet. They tried with Pizzagate. They've tried with QAnon. They've tried, they've tried with a lot of things. It hasn't shut it down. And I'm trying to actually expose and bust open a child trafficking ring while a bunch of people here in town are just trying to protect the status quo. But the status quo is the sheriff who's protecting the child traffickers. And why is he doing that? Probably because they know about his meth operation. That's how I bet that's why they have him by the short and curlies. That's why they have Neil Gross by the short and curlies. Because there's meth operation that everyone in town knows about. No one wants to do anything about it, though. But I'm the bad guy for trying to bust a bunch of child traffickers. You know, hey, get out of there. Hold on. It's a bit hot, but then we're getting hit with the G4 solar storm. G4 magnetic storm from the sun that just blasted us. You know, it is only a matter of time. Oh, God, you guys are just pathetic. I take it that it's almost like Geo Farnsworth and Daniel Dowd and that whole little group just wait for me to get online. It's just bizarre. They're very obsessed, which I don't think is going to stop anytime soon. They'll say that no one's breaking into my house and then bring up that fucking laptop that they stole out of my house in the same breath. That's how fucking stupid they are. You know? And I'm not upset that they stole a broke-ass computer. I didn't give a shit about that. But the fact that they're just breaking into my house willy-nilly whenever the fuck they want, that gets to be irritating. You know? Let someone break into your house whenever they want. And frequently. And see how you feel about it. See how calm and collected, and, you know. It's not the police. It's people in my neighborhood. I know who they are. They go out of their way to dance around and let me know who they are. It's not like they don't go out of their way to brag. And so, babe, all of this is child trafficking. All of this bullshit is about the child trafficking mess. All of it. I'm not the fucking child trafficker. I'm certainly not the one making all the money off the child trafficker. I'm not the fucking army of people who go after survivors and advocates and people who come forward. That's them. Thomas Schoenberger, who seems to be involved with everything. You know? His little friend who may or may not be real. Chris Mackenzie Jones, who's down in Australia. Corey Daniel. Geo Farnsworth, Tara Joyce, Gabe Hoff, Craig Sawyer, Ron Patton, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. All of this group, same fucking group I mention every time. Hey, Sherilyn, cool. Every time I talk about them, every time I bring up the same exact names, and they need to be investigated. And what do they want you to do? They want you to focus on stupid shit about me. They don't want you to go investigate me. They just want you to focus on the stupid shit, but you definitely don't want to investigate them. They and their involvement in so much shit that revolves around that. And that's just it, Smokey. When they couldn't get to me, that's the reason why I wonder. I know that the person who was in here the last time who was attacking me, and then when they couldn't get a reaction out of me, they attacked you. I believe that was Geo Farnsworth, but Geo Farnsworth is playing the same goddamn game that Thomas Schoenberger is. So if they're mortal enemies, why are they playing the same game? If they can't get an emotional reaction out of me, then they'll focus on you or anyone else they can. You know? And that's the whole thing. That's their MO. That's why they don't like me doing these videos. Because anybody who listens to these videos, you start to pick up their game. And then once you see their game, it's hard to unsee it. You know? It's hard to not see it anymore. Once you know the game, then it's hard not to see it. And that's what they don't want. You know? They're doing something to my phone. This phone is going to shut down. I have to shut it down for a minute. Then I'll come back on as soon as it's cooled off. Isn't it interesting how my phone only overheats when I'm talking about certain things on YouTube? Otherwise, my phone never overheats. Never. I never have a problem with it. At all. Oh, Sherilyn, don't worry about it. As you saw, I just kind of, this morning, I would just rather do during the week, Tuesday and Thursday, I'd rather just do them at 11. I know that there are people who can't get to them until the afternoon, but for me to set up my entire day so that I have to be on here at 2 o'clock is almost damn near impossible for me sometimes, because I get caught up in doing stuff that I can't just stop when I'm doing it. But the child traffickers are going to end up, they're working overtime. They seem to be really obsessed, and they seem almost like they're going mental, you know. But that's ended up, you know, well, Sherilyn, you're going to be busy today, unfortunately, because that's what it's been like since I've gotten on here. And the whole shit, now stuff is going on to where people are in town are starting to look at me funny. You know? Child trafficking, adults only. This is an adults only channel. And if my moderator thinks that you are a child or you're acting like a child, you're going to get blocked flat out. You know? Flat out. I know that shit is being taken care of. I know that heaven is dealing with these idiots. You know? 38 an adult, that's cool. My moderator just asks that everybody act like an adult. You know? Because you can be 60 and still act like a child. And you know the topic. The whole thing about it is that this is all about child trafficking. This group needs to be fucking investigated. They need to be arrested, and they need to be stopped. And they're not gonna stop. And the harassment that I have gone through is what they've done to everyone. That's what they've done to everyone. Hey, Penny, that I'm not the first nor the only. And now it's going on in town. But see, in town, I've already dealt with. I was sitting around this morning thinking about it. And the stuff that I've done, like the government dude who lived next door, who came outside, and I was able to look him in the eye and shake his hand while there was an F4 tornado. And what I did during that whole situation is just opened up a doorway and let the darkness go right on in. And so, I'll just let you deal with it. Sorry, Sherilyn. So, I opened the dark and let and just opened the door and turned him into a virus. So he was going to leave, and then he was going to go deal with his people, and he was going to spread the darkness like a virus. And then they would go out and spread the virus like a darkness. To spread the darkness like a virus. That's how it worked. Then Chad Butler came when that woman threw a rock through my window. And I realized that he was the one who tailgated me from Hy-Vee to Casey's. And I had to end up getting off the road. Hold on. I'm not allergic, but I think it's the same wasp who keeps wanting to come in. Hey, Chuck. It's the same wasp. The dogs are inside because it's hot out here today. So with Chad Butler, same thing. Shook his hand. while the people next door who have been harassing the shit out of me sat out there and laughed. So the humiliation and all of the shit that I had to experience, so that energy went in. I did the same thing to Chad Butler. Opened him right on up. Sent the darkness right on into him. Because I wanted him to be able to go to Neil Gross's office and share the darkness with all of them. And that's what happened. And then the very last one, that's the reason why I'm experiencing the shit that I am in town. Because the very last one, another neighbor who wanted to fucking parade around and goad me came up to me, looked me in the eye, shook my hand while we were having a blizzard with 100-mile-an-hour winds. And so I was able to take all that energy and the same thing. Shook his hand, gave him the darkness. And then when he goes out, basically what I did was weaponize the dark as a virus. If you have dark inside, it can come inside of you. It's not a vampire. It doesn't. And then it does, then it's going to just attract to you what you deserve. All the bad shit. I journeyed this morning, did a shamanic journey, and I know I'm going to probably butt hurt a lot of you in here. But you know that 144,000 that are people's souls supposedly to be raptured? You need to have, there's a more adequate word for rapture. That 144 are the ones who are going to ascend to the new earth. So out of all of the billions of people on the planet, all the billions of souls on the planet, 144 get to ascend to the new garden. The rest are claimed by the dark. So when you're sitting there thinking that you are so self-satisfied and God would never judge you, and of course you're going to make it to heaven, realize that out of the billions of souls that are here, only 144,000 actually make it to the new garden. Because heaven ain't playing. Heaven ain't playing. Even good men fail this test. Even good men failed this test. I wrote a book. Yeah, I just read that. This is my book. Got nominated for Book of the Year when I published it in 2012. So, when you feel like you're so self-satisfied, see, heaven is neither a fairy godmother, nor is it a very self-indulgent parent. Ever. To a degree. Trafficking is global. It's happening everywhere. But, the darkness is here to claim its own. If your heart is not filled with love, chances are you're going to get claimed. That's how it works. Talking shit about people, that's always negative. When you're talking shit about people, so obviously they are able to warm up my phone. They're going to do whatever they can. They break into my house. They steal my shit. They come into town. They murder my friends. They murdered Owen and bragged about it. But I'm just supposed to be quiet and take it. That's what's supposed to happen, I guess. And that's not going to happen. I'm not going to just take it. And what ends up happening is I reconnect and then it starts the timer again. So people who are going to watch this without me being on live are going to just see my phone, for some reason, just now, since I've started doing this YouTube live today, has started to overheat. Didn't do shit yesterday. Hasn't done stuff all morning. But now it's suddenly overheating now that I'm doing a video. And again, it's all about the child trafficking bullshit. It's all about the child trafficking bullshit. They're trying to shut it all down. And there's this disinformation campaign going on about town. So is it still buffering? Funny I didn't have any problems before. You know? They're just, it's all about this child trafficking bullshit. All right. It's all about this child trafficking bullshit. That's why they're fighting me so hard. And as far as people in town goes, when I did my neighbor, when I shook my neighbor's hand during the storm, and the 100-mile-an-hour winds, that was meant to go into town, because that person is connected to the very people. It's funny because a couple years ago I was at work. I worked for my spiritual advisor, and he walked out of the very office of the woman who actually was dumb enough to tell me that they were trying to set me up. And he was laughing, and I asked him what was up. And he looked at me, they must have just watched a video, and said, nobody is going to be able to deal with all the evil in this world. And I knew he was talking about me. I knew they had just watched a video. And I didn't say anything at the time. But now, had I had been able to be there now, the only thing I would say is, bet me. Bet me. Yellowstone is getting ready to explode. It's funny about this whole immigration bullshit, because when Yellowstone explodes, I have a feeling it's going to release pressure that's been building up on the New Madrid. That's the reason why we're having earthquakes suddenly on the New Madrid and the Cascadia, not to mention the fault line that's right off of Oregon. So if Yellowstone explodes, it's going to take pressure off of all of that. And it's going to make, I think, the New World uninhabitable for a while. And so I have a feeling that the migration is going to reverse itself. And instead of people wanting to come up here, we're going to want to go down there, because we're going to have to get away from what's happening up here. Because if it shows all that shit up, you realize that supervolcanoes exploding are an extinction level event. And it doesn't happen all at once. And so therefore, I have a feeling that it's going to switch, because we're going to have to get out of here because of all the shit that's going to happen with that. And I have a feeling that going down, it is karma's a bitch. Hold on. Come on. They want to end in, out, in, out. They're like little children. All of this is about child trafficking. All the bullshit that's going on with me in town. They're just really upset. I'm sorry that 2 explosions that happened 9.5 minutes apart are different than what was reported, the one explosion that leveled the place. I'm sorry that there were lies told. I'm sorry those lies were so stupid, they were so easily pointed out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people are butthurt. I'm sorry that people are upset because they just want the status quo to keep going on. But the status quo is that law enforcement is fucking involved with the meth operation. And everyone seems to know it out here, but no one seems to give a fuck. But who do you think they're getting on meth? Who do you think they usually focus on meth? Kids. That's who usually ends up doing the meth. You know? They're not looking for junkies in the fucking alleyway. That's not where they're that's not where they're going. And so well, America doesn't make it difficult at all. Where are you at, Danny? Meth is big where I'm at. Council Bluffs Iowa was known as, oh yeah, you guys wouldn't because you guys need propane gas to make meth and Drano and the drugs that they can get from Claritin D, you know? But Denmark is also very small. I actually did a class before Zoom was a big thing. I'm old. But we actually did a live thing with the class from people in Denmark. And they didn't understand in that class why our Constitution didn't change, why we never changed our Constitution. As societies evolve and grow, so should the Constitution. That's what they believed. It was interesting to see what people thought who did not live in the same government system as America, how you guys perceived things, which wasn't wrong. It was just different than what it is here. I've always liked Denmark. Ever since I took that class, it would be someplace that I would love to see. You know, love to experience. You do look out for each other. You guys are very close. Denmark, the class that I took, it was like we were a classroom, a bunch of strangers who didn't know each other. But the class that was also doing, who was participating in this from Denmark, you guys all seemed very close to each other. And I think that countries like that are wonderful. Well, I'm not going to do this for very long because they keep overheating my phone. And my phone is about ready. I'm sure it's about ready to turn off again. Because what they do is that's what they want to do. They want to close it down. And who wants to close it down? The child traffickers. And who is that? Who do I believe that is? Thomas Schoenberger and Chris Mackenzie Jones, who some people believe is also Thomas Schoenberger. They don't even believe it's two different people. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say any names. I don't want anyone in here saying any names. But just because of shit that they've noticed in the emails. Corey Daniel, Phoenix Enigma, Craig Sawyer, Geo Farnsworth, Daniel Dowd, Tara Joyce, all of these people, the whole Dead Isaac Cappy Club, Defango, Ron Patton, Gabe Hoffman, all of this is a group together. They're all entwined together. They all have a fucking history together. Now, they might seem like they're opposition to each other, but still, they're totally entwined with each other. They all need to be looked at, because in my personal experience, having had to deal with all of them, there's a lot of shit they don't want anybody looking at. And a lot of it has child trafficking written all over it. They're working hand in hand with Lucian Greaves. Doug Masico, a.k.a. Doug Mesner, founder of the Satanic Temple, who's using the Satanic Temple after-school daycare bullshit to target the kids, which they're doing online with all of their gaming shit and all of that. Predators go where the fucking kids are. That's how it works. They're all there because that's where the kids are. And so that's how it's working. And I say the same shit and the same names over and over and over and over and over. You know? Pedophiles, I'm just, hey, cognitive. And they're just burning the shit out of my phone. How they're doing it, who knows? You know? They'll send emails saying how I'm fucked up and how I'm so goddamn stupid. No one's breaking into my house. And then in the same fucking email, start bragging about the computer that they stole out of my house. That's the stuff. But then last week, like I said, they're telling everybody that I've been addicted to coke. from 18 to 35, you know? I'm a felon. I can't own a gun because I got busted. But you want to know that whole situation? Do you know where they actually got that whole sawed-off shotgun? Someone named Shurter in Nebraska got busted for that. They just never point out that the first person's name was Sean. Shon. They believe it was pronounced Sean. So this Sean Shurter got busted. So suddenly, I hope you're all sitting down, but my name isn't Sean. And if it was Sean, I wouldn't spell it Shon, you know? But my name is David. And if someone's named Sean Shurter and I'm named David Shurter, chances are two totally different people, which they are. Perfect another example. When one explosion levels the place is different from two explosions that happen 9.5 minutes apart, again, two totally different things. They can't exist in the same space at the same time. They're two totally separate things, you know? But that's the shit that they're running around. And I don't know where they thought. It's just laughable that they're saying that I was... That's just it too, Danny. It's the people that you have to... If you have adults who want to be around your kids, that's a big red flag. You know? That's a big red flag. I had some friends who were Mormons. I went over to their house. Their kids wanted to show me their trampoline. They had just gotten a new trampoline. And so I was able to stand at the sliding glass door and talk to my friends who were in the kitchen and watch their kids, because their kids weren't going to leave me alone. They wanted me to see it on trampoline. And the wife told me, you can go out and jump on that trampoline. And I had to explain to her, okay, first of all, I don't jump on trampolines. It takes nothing for me to fuck my back up. I would never jump on a trampoline. But second of all, when I came over, their kids were great. Don't get me wrong. They had great kids. They were great parents. But I didn't come over to converse with their kids. I'm not coming over to visit their kids. I was coming over to visit them as adults. Adult interaction, adult conversation, adults. If you have someone who wants to come over and doesn't want to hang out with the adults, but only wants to hang out with the kids, big red fucking flag. You know? Your kids are great, but I don't want to hang with them. You know? I don't want to hang with them. And so, sawed off Sean. No, but it's not S-H-A-W-N, Smokey. It's S-H-O-N. Sean. S-H-O-N. Doesn't that sound like a girl's name anyway? I don't know any guy who would name themselves. I mean, obviously he didn't name himself. His parents named him. But if he's not gay, he should be. You know? And so... S-E-A-N. Okay, I know someone named Sean. But it wasn't. It was S-H-O-N. And the person who was reading it to me had to read it to me, had to go look for it, because they said it was a weird spelling. Not the same person, you know? No, I've never been a cocaine addict. I can't afford fucking pot. Who the fuck could afford cocaine? You know? Where you think I got money for cocaine is just beyond me. It just doesn't even make sense. You know? And actually telling people that I'm the pedophile when I'm trying to get a bunch of pedophiles exposed and investigated is just laughable. But those people are going to run around and run their mouths and talk shit. And in the process of running their mouths and talking shit, they're binding themselves to the dark. Because they can call it whatever colloquialism or euphemism that they want to call it. Talking shit, gossip, blah, blah, blah. They can call it whatever the fuck it is that they want. Let me explain to you how the darkness looks at it. Bearing false witness, which is totally forbidden. That's how it works. And talking shit and binding yourself to people, it's not ego when I say I probably am not the best one to do that with. Just saying. I'm probably not the best one to do it with. But, you know, they never listen. They never do. They're going to do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. But death is coming. The road to the new garden is narrow and full of hazards. It's a test. The road into the dark is a 12-lane fucking interstate, and everyone's doing 120 miles an hour right into the fucking dark. Which one do you think is going to be easier to get into? And there's not going to be any, oh, you're forgiven, oh, whatever evil shit you wanted to do, we understand. You just couldn't help yourself. You had to talk shit and steal shit and hurt anybody whenever you wanted and justify it any way you need. That's totally okay. Here, come into the new garden. You really think that's the way it's going to work, do you? Who gave you that idea? Who gave you that idea? You know? Alcohol abuse, I've heard, is a big problem in Denmark and the Scandinavian countries as a whole. When I was in Florida, I was in Panama City. My sister lived, I don't remember what town she lived in, because her husband was always city manager. That's why they thought they couldn't be touched. He thought he couldn't be touched. Because he was city manager, they didn't look into my sister's death at all. So I told my sister, don't ever let him sleep. And when he sleeps, don't let him get any rest. And 3 years after my sister died, my brother-in-law was dead. Because he thought he couldn't be touched. And that's what I've said. I like to reach out to people who think they can't be touched and touch them. You know, white beaches, that's what Panama City Beach was known for. Pensacola was right down the way. I was on the top part of the Gulf. Alabama and Georgia poured in every weekend, and the IQ level dropped 60 points. And every other weekend, one of those dumbasses was getting drunk and falling off a balcony and killing themselves at those hotels. Every other weekend, if not every weekend. They'd get all drunk, get on those balconies, and someone would fall off. It was just an invariable that someone was going to fall. And if they didn't die, oh, it was hard. It was horrid. I hated Florida. Hated Florida. Hot. They have great big flying cockroaches called palmetto bugs. The most disgusting bugs you've ever seen. And they're flying cockroaches. That's what they are. And they're called palmetto bugs. And it's like the state bird. It was gross. Half Danish, half Serbian. Drink like a Russian, but I'm never drunk. It's interesting the cultures who have alcohol as part of their whole growing up, and even the kids can go and drink alcohol at dinner. What America would perceive as alcoholism and all of that, and maybe it is, but it's a different culture. And I do think that a lot of people, you end up controlling yourself at an early age. Unlike here, where they become teenagers that aren't be able to drink, and so they just get as drunk as the fuck as they can. Alcohol is a drug to many people. and an addictive drug for many people. For every drink you drink a glass of water. I agree with that. I drink more water. If I'm out drinking, I drink more water than I drink alcohol. As a teenager, I drank Zima. My phone is going to get hot and shut off again. It is. I hate to do this because the conversation's so good, but I'm going to shut my phone off. And I'm not going to come back on here. I'm just going to finish this. Which sucks because we have someone from Denmark. Please subscribe and come back. It's been wonderful getting different cultures in here so that people can actually... I used to drink Everclear and moonshine. Never drank moonshine, but Everclear was big when I was in high school. Everclear and I forget what it was called. It was red. It was red. So when you threw it up, it looked like you were throwing up blood. It was awful. I'm feeling okay. You know, I didn't come on here yesterday because I was exhausted. And, pray. Okay, I will pray. I didn't come on here because I was exhausted, but now I realize that the sun just hit us with, we're going to have a G2 or a G4 magnetic storm. It's going to be an extreme magnetic storm because of what we just got hit with. And I have a feeling that's why I was so tired yesterday. Because do you know I went and laid down at 4 o'clock? I was going to do one at 2. And then I told Sherilyn, let's do one at 3. Then I said, let's do one at 4. And then at 4, right before 4, I just said, let's just do it tomorrow. I'm exhausted. I laid down at 4 and I got up at 3:30 this morning. So I slept for quite a while. And I think it's all the energy that the sun is pumping out. It's exhausting. Hey, Katie. Katie, I have not forgotten about your slang. In fact, we're actually working on that there's a couple of us working on that. And so it'll be interesting. Oh, let me pray. Heaven, we come to you as your children. I journeyed this morning. You know my frustrations. You just know where my focus is. And I think that you're answering your prayers, and I can't be more grateful. I'm just incredibly grateful that things are starting to come to a head. They're all starting to feel the darkness envelop them. And you reminding me of that or pointing it out this morning was very helpful. And so I just wanted to say thank you. We're in some rough days. Shit is coming down the pipeline. Who knows how bad it's going to get. But we're all going to be tested. And just help us recognize and rise to the challenge. With with as much grace as we can muster. We love you. We're grateful. We're grateful that you sent your son, our brother, Jesus Christ, down to teach us about the word. And, just love you all. Or we love our son. Sorry, I started reading the chat. One child disappears every 47 seconds. That's the missing and exploited children. And children are starting to disappear at even a greater rate. And turning away and pretending it's not happening and telling ourselves that we are not responsible is the surest fucking way into the dark. If you won't help kids, don't ask heaven for help. That's kind of how it works. Sucks, but there you go. On that note, I'm going to end this prayer. I'm grateful for our brother, Jesus Christ, even though I have to say that it is hard to keep my heart filled with love and keep going and trying to be positive when I seem to be very irritated a lot. Anyway, we love your son, our brother Jesus Christ. Amen. That's a third of our population. That's just it, Danny. Denmark is small. That's the reason why you guys are able to, I do this knowing that I'm never going to have any kids. And still I do this. And I'm not bitching. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, no, it wasn't Mad Dog. I forget what it was called. Slow Gin. That's what it was called. Slow Gin. The nastiest shit I've ever, as an adult. Do they even still make Slow Gin? Oh my God, it was gross. It was so sweet. It tasted like Kool-Aid, but you could get drunk on it. And then when you barfed, it looked like blood. It was awful. It was awful. I was a drinker when I was in high school. And then on my 21st birthday, you would think that would be when I got drunk. And I come out of my apartment and someone's having a party down a few doors down, and some dude's throwing up in my bushes. That was on my 21st birthday. I've just never been much of a drinker. Never been much for drugs. Cherry vodka. Slow Gin. Do they still even make it? It was disgusting. I haven't been in a liquor store forever. And if I go buy wine, Hy-Vee has a bottle of wine for like $8. It's like, it can't be more than $9. And that's what I buy. And I've had some that I've had for a month and a half now, and it's only half gone. Because when I do drink it, I only drink it. They don't make it anymore. This is because it was disgusting. And I think the only people who drank it were kids. I was a kid when I drank it. It was disgusting. It was Slow Gin, and then when you barfed it up, oh my God, it was gross going down, but barfing it up was even. Mother Earth needs our prayers. Is that Anthony character still bugging? Anthony is Arthur Reed, several names, same person. And yeah, I'm not getting any emails anymore, but now they're starting to realize, fuck, I don't know why I just fucking post all of this shit. Let people read it, Why should I be the only one being driven crazy, Why not share the love? And so I let everyone read it. Everyone can see what the fuck was going on. And it's because they're afraid, because they're about ready to get thrown under the bus. The Epstein thing has not gone away. They can only focus on this shit in LA for so long. Fill your hearts with love. That's just it. Fill your hearts with love. Try to be better than what you were yesterday. Try to be a better person every day. That's, And the child traffickers, they're fucked. They're fucked. There's nothing they can do to save themselves. It is like I have said. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Nobody's coming to save them, and they can't save themselves. And what is about ready to embrace them is worse than they could ever imagine. And so that's what's getting ready to happen. And I know what I'm able to do. It's not like I haven't seen it work before. There's a reason why Michael Aquino wouldn't answer his front door when I just simply was knocking on the door. There's a reason why Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, got a hold of me on Twitter as chief handler and offered me any amount of money I wanted if I would just stop. You know? I know what I can do. And they never fucking listened to me. They never listened. They just look at me as an easy mark. But what's happening, what's beginning to happen isn't even the prologue to the prologue to the prologue to the prologue. It's nothing has even really begun. It's just starting. And it's a bad time to be considered an abomination unto heaven. And this group is an abomination. And the people who are just talking shit in my town, thinking that they're just gossiping and talking shit and it's no different. Oh, it's different this time, trust me. It's different. With me, you're not going to like the results. Because the dark is so connected to me that it does what it wants to do instinctively. You know? It goes out and works instinctively. That's why Tom is saying, oh, David Shurter is getting his minions and they're trying to attack me with the minions. That was the whole thing. That's the reason why when Geo Farnsworth was in here, he couldn't get an emotional reaction with me. He focused on Smokey. And I watched that whole situation go down. And Smokey wasn't going to rise to he just was just like, go fuck yourself, dude. You know? He didn't give him what he wanted either. But what they want to say is that, oh, I have people I'm sending out people to go get them. I don't know how you can all get it through your thick fucking heads. But Thomas, if I want to hurt you, I don't even have to leave the confines of my own house. I just have to focus on it and send open doors and send shit to you. That's how it works. It's how I was trained. And I'm very, very good at it. Very good at it. You're all fucked. Your egos will not allow you to realize that right now. But you are all fucked. And you don't even have a clue how fucked you are. But again, in the end, when you end up where you are headed, 4 little words. It's not magical power. It's heaven who's doing it. It's heaven who's doing it. I'm just an instrument, a conduit. You just unhidden. You got to hide him again, Sherilyn. Sherilyn, you unhid. Good boy, you need to redo that. Because I'm just not going to play any games, and it's not my magical power, it's heaven's. It's heaven, and it's what we were told the whole entire time. It's just that I think that this time around, heaven needed a man to help. Because nobody knows fucking hate like a man. And trust me, the shit that I've cast into that dark, oh, you'll know hate. You'll know hate when you get in there. Because that's every breathing fucking moment. All the shit that I'm going through gets to all go be amplified in the dark. That's how it's going to work. And I don't need to convince anybody because eventually what I'm saying will become self-evident. And again, 4 little words. I told you so. Heaven is control of all of this. The wicked will end up in the dark. It will, Scott. And the reason why is because heaven loves those people too. And evil spreads like a virus in the souls of mankind. If you have evil, if you are infected with evil, you get to go right into the dark. And after spending an eternity under the rule of evil, you'll never fucking choose evil again. Trust me. You will be given what you lack now. Thomas will be given what he lacks. Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves will be given what he lacks. Ron Patton, Gabe Hoffman, Craig Sawyer, Tara Joyce, Daniel Dowd, Corey Daniels, Phoenix Enigma and his Sicilian wife, Geo Farnsworth, they'll all be given what they lack right now. Fear of God. That's what they lack. They really do believe that they're untouchable. They can't be touched. God wouldn't dare touch them. And so therefore, God is about ready to touch them. And they ain't going to like it when it happens. Not getting into a biblical discussion because this is going to end right now. I'm going to get out of here. You know? The wicked are not going to be celebrated. And they're not going to be given the, you know, you can argue all the bullshit all you want. Fill your hearts with fucking love. If you don't have your hearts filled with love and you have hate and derision in your heart, you're going to end up in the dark. And you're not going to like the dark. And that's how it works. That's how it fucking works. And you can throw your hands to the heavens and bitch and complain and cry and moan, and none of it is going to make any difference. None of it. You know, none of it is going to make any difference. Fill your fucking heart with love. And if you're so eager to protect those, like my sheriff, who are busy protecting child killers, then you deserve what you fucking get. So when you go talking shit about me, and that's the people in town, when you're talking shit about me, realize I don't respect you any more than you respect me. In fact, I respect you less. You know? Because you're not even honest with yourselves about what you're doing. But as far as I'm concerned, you're protecting those who protect fucking child killers. And you deserve what you get. You deserve what you get. And your ignorance and your cognitive dissonance and all of the bullshit that you tell yourself isn't going to make a bit of fucking difference to change things. You want to fucking bear false witness? Talk shit? Go ahead. Because I agree with the dark. The more, the fucking merrier. You know? That's how I feel about the dark. So, you end up in the dark, I ain't gonna cry no tears. You know? Because you only end up in the dark if you put yourself there. And if you put yourself there, it's your choice. You made the choices. Whether or not you were honest about it, whether or not you... It doesn't make any difference. You made the choice. And that's how it works. And... I believe there's a creator. I do not believe that you have to actually adhere to all of the dogma that everyone does, Danny, in order to get there. If your heart is filled with love, you're fine. And God is real, you know? Remote creative agency is that other dude that you timed out. And now that he has another account, just get rid of both of them, you know? That's probably Doug Mesner. Doug Mesner thinking that he can fight all about God, like that's going to make the first bit of fucking difference, you know? Dude, it ain't God that you just unhidden. You Sherilyn, you need to redo that. Remote Creative Agency, LLC, needs to be, thank you. That's why I don't even second guess, because Sherilyn is almost too fast for Sherilyn. But she's way faster than I am. And so I'll go to block someone, and what ends up happening is I end up unhiding them because she's blocked them and beat me at it, and then I've undone what she's done. You know, so I don't even play anymore. Sherilyn knows exactly what she's doing. But that dude that you timed out, he can be, you know, that's Doug Mesner fighting over God. You want to know what, dude? It's not God you're going to have to worry about because you're never going to meet him. It's the dark that you're going to have to fucking worry about. And let me tell you, you know more than anybody that the dark fucking exists. You've spent your entire fucking life hiding in it, thinking that it protected you. And it doesn't. And now you're starting to get a fucking clue. You know? And all these people who are talking shit, who think that they know so much more, don't have a fucking clue, haven't looked into anything, just have opinions. And have listened to other people and their opinions. But don't have any education, don't have anything. And they think they know. And then they get mad when I look at them funny, like I don't respect what they're saying, but I don't, you know? So you're an ignorant dickhead, you know? What do you want from me? Because if it's respect, you ain't getting it. I don't respect ignorant fucking dumbasses who don't have a fucking clue. Don't do it. That's just me. And I don't even pretend, you know? As far as when it comes into town, this is what I can say. I do these videos. I'm quite fucking clear how I think. And how I've actually been, you know? How I think, what I believe, what I have to say about people. The majority of people in town can't do that. They can't tell me to my face what they think. But they'll go talk about it behind my back. But to my face, they don't say a fucking word. And I'm supposed to respect that? You know? Really? Just don't have any interest. And don't respect it. And not even going to pretend to respect it. And if people are upset about that, tough fucking shit. I don't see you asking me for my approval on how you act and how you treat people. I don't see anybody asking my approval. So why the fuck do you think I need yours? You know? I don't. I've never been popular. And when it comes down to it, I've never really liked the popular kids as it is. We're not in fucking high school anymore. We're not. You know? And all this shit is playing for keeps. So go ahead, talk all the shit you want. Convince yourself that I'm a cokehead. Convince yourself I'm a felon and I had a sawed-off shotgun, which I don't even understand. I'm so not into killing things, you know? That never happened, you know? Believe whatever you want. Believe in whatever fucking shit. When I lived in Erlin, I had people saying that I was running a coven in my backyard, which means there were 12 fucking naked people in my backyard and nobody saw us. But I lived right on the fucking highway. The highway was right beside my house. Because to do a coven, which would mean I would, you know, and they were saying I was doing it in my backyard. That's how fucking stupid this shit is. That's why I don't argue any of it. Because it's so stupid. I feel like an idiot even talking about it. Because it's so fucking stupid. But these people know. Because they've heard it. You know? These are the same people who, you know, read shit on Facebook and then run with it like it's fucking gospel. With that said, I'm just going to get off here, you know. Love thy neighbor. I've tried to be the nicest neighbor I possibly could. The dude that's breaking into my house that told me that they liked it when I turned off the light because they knew that I was still alive. Do you know that I gave him a bunch of fucking white shirts? Before I even knew him, I gave him a bunch of my white shirts so he could go to church and have it. I used to scoop the other people's lawns, take him cookies and shit. I don't do that shit anymore. You know? Don't do that shit. Don't reach out. Don't have any interest. You know? Have as much respect for them as they do for me. That's how it works. You know? Have a good shift, Smokey. Work well. I better get off here before I just dealing with all these idiots and the shit that I've had to deal with in town. Fuck it, you know? They break into my house at will. They came in town, murdered my friend, blew up a goddamn gas station, lied about it. If you think that I'm being a troublemaker because I won't let that go, fuck you. You know? But I wouldn't want to be your friend because fuck, you don't give a shit about murdered friends. You know? And you want to know what, when it comes down to it, almost everyone I've met out here, and they're all Trumpsters, would fucking do anything for a fucking buck. That's how I feel. That you could give them just a little bit of money. Fuck, most of them are willing to give their souls away. You don't even have to buy it. So, with that said, again, I have as much respect for them as they do for me. They're okay with fucking child killers. They get what they get. That's how it works. And they can talk all the shit they want. All the shit they want. Have whatever fucked up opinions you want to have in your fucking head. Go right ahead. But when you realize that I don't give a fuck, don't come off as all butthurt. You want to know why? Because I don't care. Murdered my friend Owen. Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. Just go to my blog, David Shurter. Erling is E-A-R-L-I-N-G. Erling, Iowa gas station explosion. You can read all about it. All about it. Harassment in real time. And the people around here, fuck, they love the signs that are Mussolini based. And the guy that writes JFK Jr. on his Trump sign around the fucking corner. But me trying to expose fucking pedophiles and getting death threats and all the videos that they're making of my house blowing up and burning down, saying that they're going to be here and all the weird ass phone calls, and then breaking into my house and stealing shit and then bragging about it, let alone murdering my friend, and then bragging that they came into town and murdered my friend. All of that bullshit, I'm just supposed to suck that under and just, you know, why? So these motherfuckers can feel comfortable? They don't have any right to feel comfortable. Not at all. But they're too stupid to actually be concerned about the things that they should be concerned about. They're too fucking stupid. They're too focused on my shit. But my shit isn't going to get them into the goddamn dark. That's their own shit. So keep running your fucking mouths. You know? Fuck. Embellish it as much as you can. Make it incredibly scandalous. Just make sure that you get my fucking name right. It's not Sean Shurter. It's not S-H-O-N. It's David. David Shurter. At least get my fucking name right if you're going to talk about shit. You know? Anyway.